Perfect. Hi everyone. Lovely to have you join us today. What I really want to talk to you about is the School of Sport and kind of what we are about and what our focus is. And we are really passionate about helping you guys develop a career in whatever area you want to with regard to sport, so that you can lead, inspire and shape the future of sport, whether it be here in Northern Ireland, UK, Ireland, or even further afield as you go more globally. So we're really, really passionate to do that, and we have a range of undergraduate courses, postgraduate courses, and then through to PhD level. So you can keep studying with us for a while once we have you. So what we want to talk to you about today is our undergraduate programs, and Lee, Stephen and I will talk you through our three main ones, and we'll signpost you then to a couple of the part-time options. We'll have a webinar on the 1st of June. So you can see all your options and see what's right for you moving forward in terms of studying sport. But we've got a long legacy of working in sport, doing consultancy in sport, research in sport, and we have loads of networks, links, contacts. So we're very well placed to help you on your journey as you move into a career in sport. So on the current slide is our three main programs that we're going to talk to you about today. A lot of the content, particularly between sports science and sports studies, there's shared modules there, and we'll be working with each of the students on those in bigger cohorts. But we'll talk to you about the differences that we have in these courses today, and then we'll not really touch upon the part-time options, but if it's sports coaching and performance or football coaching and business management you're specifically interested, check out that webinar on the 1st of June. Johnny, can you click me on another one? It's not letting me. Can you click me on, Johnny? Technology is great when it works, or when I work.
Is everything okay, guys?
It won't let me click on here, Johnny.
Oh, that's okay. I'll move it on there for you.
You can be my glamorous assistant.
Yeah, sure. Give me a second. Okay.
Thanks, Johnny. So as I was saying, three main undergraduate programs which we're going to talk to you about today. Two of those are based on the Jordanstown campus currently, but the plan is that they will be moving to the Belfast campus in the near future. We're still waiting on confirmation of when exactly that'll be, but within the next couple of years it will be moving, which will affect you guys if you're applying. So sports science and sports studies, Jordanstown and Belfast, and maybe a combination of the two. But keep up to date on our website, and you'll get more information as to when all that's confirmed. And then if you want to go up to McGee, and that's where the sport, physical activity and health program's based. Over to Lee.
Folks, my name's Lee. I'm the course director for sports science. Following on from what Rachel said, I suppose a brief introduction to the programs is our partnership colleges. So I've previously held a role as course director within these colleges, and they offer foundation degrees which are validated by Ulster University and have pathways into year 2 in either sports studies and sports science, and the sport, physical activity and health up in McGee. And there's also a final year option, or 2+1, which is currently on offer to the sports coaching and performance. So you'll be able to pick up more information on that pathway for sports coaching and performance on the 1st of June as well. But it was just to highlight that our partnership colleges offer our foundation degrees, and it's another pathway into our programs and undergrads at the minute. And if we just move on then, Johnny, to the next slide, I suppose the other point or questions that may be asked later on is in reference to the talented athlete scheme or talented athlete entry. So that is hyperlinked. So whenever you access this webinar outside of today you'll be able to access the Talented Athlete Entry Scheme and the conditions on offer. Traditionally, it's usually a reduced grade of 2 scores. So if it's 2 A's and a B, that'll drop down to 3 B's. If it's 2 B's and a C, it will drop down to 3 C's traditionally, but most information's on that website to keep you up to date. And I suppose that then leads into our programs themselves, in particular my sport and exercise science program. I suppose the main selling point for the sport and exercise science program is it is predominantly oversubscribed due to popularity, and also that it's accredited by the BSE's, British Association of Sport and Exercise Sciences. So that's predominantly a main selling point to our course, is that it's the only course on the island of Ireland that's BSE's accredited, and particularly in Northern Ireland. We'll move on then, Johnny. So just a bit about the curriculum for the sport and exercise science. I suppose throughout the program, we're looking to develop your academic and research skills, as well as your technical and professional competencies in line with BSE's. And because we've got BSE's accreditation for the next 5 years, we've had to meet so many criteria to say that our programs actually meet their skill sets for a sport and exercise scientist. So predominantly most sport and exercise science programs are based around physiology, psychology, and biomechanics. So they're usually your core subjects that you'll study across all years of the program. And then it's complemented and supplemented by your interdisciplinary modules. Now, some of these interdisciplinary modules may be sport and exercise nutrition, could be fitness, could be strength conditioning, performance analysis. So there's subjects or topics that are aligned to sports science, but are outside the remit of the 3 core sciences of physiology, psychology, and biomechanics. So they pretty much make the foundations in the background for the sports science program in general across the 3 years. Johnny, if you want to move on, please. Yep, so these 3 pictures, folks, just give you an idea of the practicalities of being a sport and exercise scientist. So you can see the top one on the left there is the sport and exercise science fitness lab, or the environmental chamber. So we can adjust the temperature and the humidity within those chambers to train athletes or test athletes. You've also got the student looking at the dual screens. So that's within the fitness testing laboratory. So you could be asked to take some data, record some data in the fitness testing laboratories. Our golf enthusiasts will sort of link this to the biomechanics lab, where there's biomechanical analysis going on in the swing. And then we've got our strength conditioning suite. So the theory that you provided in the physiology, the psychology, and the biomechanics is complemented with the labs and the practicals involved as well. Rachel will touch on a bit more about the practical side in terms of sports and the coaching aspects that we cover in our CrossFit programs as well. Can we move on, Johnny, please? I suppose this, in terms of pathways, gives you an idea from the British Association of Sport and Exercise Scientists. So a lot of our students will progress maybe to elite sport and performance. So for example, you could have a student who obviously graduates with a degree in sport and exercise science, and they may decide to pursue a nutrition pathway. So they may take an MSc, then get some work experience. They'll go for the registration for the sport and exercise nutrition register practitioner, and lead to the role as a sport and exercise nutritionist. Again, that's just to give you an idea of some of the roles and the scopes from our elite sport and performance pathways. The next slide is our links with sort of research, teaching, coaching, and sports development. So again, sports science, if you want to take go for a teaching route, you predominantly might look at your PGCE or a master's for either primary school, secondary school teaching, or education and higher education as well. So there's different pathways just to make you aware of your research, teaching, coaching, and sports development pathways. And then the third slide, or the next slide, is more of your clinical exercise, health, and fitness. So again, if you want to go down the fitness route, you may want to look at doing your fitness instructors, personal training, or a specialist course, maybe strength conditioning, looking at your reps registration, or register of exercise professionals, and then either look at a personal training or a specialist instructor. Again, you can see other pathways are. A lot of this information can also tie in, or this career pathway would tie in nicely with the sport, physical activity, and health option in McGee as well. And again, just a bit of course information available. This is available on our website, so you can see there the hyperlink is in, and you can also see a video from one of our graduates for a placement student as well, and the opportunities. They're 4-minute videos, so given that the day session is only going to last about 40 minutes, I didn't want to bombard you with a lot of information, so it's freely available online on our websites. And again, this ties in with a website that Rachel's developed that identifies our student graduate profiles. So I've went in and been able to articulate pathways from some of our sports science graduates and where they are and how they got there. So again, if you want to click on the links or access the website, which Rachel will talk about in her presentation, it'll just give you an idea of pathways for students as well.
Thanks, Lee. Hopefully that's really inspired you and excited you about the different career options that are available there. And just with regard to that website, I'll touch upon that after we talk about sports studies, but it gives you a good idea of where your sports degree can take you, which is really exciting. So what I'll talk to you about now is sports studies, and I suppose the difference with the sports sciences program, just in case you're maybe kind of wondering what it is, the differences between the two of them. As with any of our courses, all I just wanted to say was just keep up to date with the entry requirements. Just check if they change and what the subject requirements are and the grades that are required. So always just go on the prospectus via the Ulster website, and that'll keep you up to date with that. But ultimately, if you're thinking about sports studies, the core subjects for us are the social sciences of sport. So whereas Lee's course for sport and exercise science is the biomechanics, physiology, psychology, and those kind of lab-based kind of scientific routes that way, we're looking at the social sciences. So we're really interested in things like sociology, psychology, and things like that to really understand societies, how people and societies work basically, and the kind of interaction that sport has with that. So that's what you really do in that program. But linked to Lee's course, you will do other vocational subjects like physical education, sports development, sports management, that are some of those options are open to sports science as well. And I suppose an important point that Lee raised as well, if you are interested in PE teaching, you can do that via any of our undergraduate programs, because you go on and do a PGC, which is separate. None of our courses teach you to be a teacher, although you get the PE experience. You have to go on and do a further postgraduate qualification after that. But with that in mind, we're one of the only courses in the UK that gives you a year experience in schools and gives you lots of practical and subject-specific knowledge in that area. So it really, really helps you get a good place on a PGC program if you are keen to be a PE teacher or indeed a teacher in general. But linked to that, we have so many placement opportunities available to you both locally and internationally, depending if you're a home bird and want to stay home, or if you want to spread those wings and see the big bad world out there. We've loads of links and loads of networks, and by all means you can set up your own. We'll help you do that. And those can be work placements, or they can be study abroad opportunities as well. So if you fancy going over and studying in America, Spain, China, France, we've got lots of links for you to do that. So it's really exciting opportunities there for you. In our school, we're also really passionate about enhancing your employability. We want you to come to university and really work and discover and who you are and what your strengths and your capabilities are, and what's the right kind of career path for you. So we've lots of initiatives across Ulster University, but very school specific ones as well. There are student leadership teams, extra coaching qualifications, whether they be within the sports, whether they be in the fitness arena. We have lots of kind of, I suppose, added value for you to really help you boost that CV, so that when you leave our courses, hopefully you have a great degree in one hand and an amazing CV in the other hand, so employers are really keen to have you working for them. So what I done a few years ago was put together the website, which is just linked at the bottom, because I do appreciate that careers information can be quite daunting, quite scary, and seems to be all over the place online. So what I did was I pulled together lots of very specific information for you, so you can see at every stage of your journey where you're at now as a prospective student right through to a graduate student. There's 5 different levels, and you can see kind of what you should be thinking about now, opportunities there for you to explore, how you can plan and action certain tasks to make yourself more employable, and just keep you really motivated to do that. On the website, as well as Lee touched upon earlier, there's graduate profiles, because I felt that those would really inspire people and give them a real sense of, right, well, who are our real graduates? What have they gone out to do? And they shared their career pathways on that. And I've set up LinkedIn links with them as well, so that it's not kind of static little interviews with them. You can actually contact them, talk to them, get work experience, get advice, and it shows, I suppose, the community of our graduates who are always really keen to help those who are coming through as well. So you can create a great network and get great experience learning from those grads. So that's a really useful website if you want to spend a wee bit of time having a wee look through it to try and see what your options are. One of the things I did on the website as well was create this, which was a sports graduate careers map, which basically I pulled together all the information on all the careers websites about if you had a degree in sport, what could you go and do with it? So whereas a lot of websites have them in long lists and you're kind of trailing through and you're not really sure, and you maybe stop on the one that you recognise you think you want to do, I wanted to visually just put it in one place for you, so you can clearly see that there's 5 main areas you can go into specifically linked to sport, physical activity or health, but also at the bottom there's the other category as well. So you might decide not to go into sport, but your sports degree will be currency to go into grad schemes, maybe other sectors. That's really, really useful and great employment for you down the line. So hopefully that's inspiring to you and exciting, that you can say, oh, look, there's more than PE teacher, sports development officer. There's lots and lots out there, and we'll give you access and opportunities, particularly through placement and work-based learning, for you to try these things, hear from guest lecturers, so that you'll help inform what your career path can be. And one of the main things, Leah touched upon it earlier about the partner colleges. We have a lot of students who come in from tech and they're really worried about the step up on transition into year one, particularly if they've come from the colleges. And we kind of really wanted to put your mind at rest about that. Even students coming in from the school system as well. We really focus on you in first year and about transitioning into academic writing, university level work, and it's all about supporting you in a really productive learning environment so that we can get you up to speed with how to write at university level, how to nurture that independent learning, so that we can set you tasks and you're confident that you can go off and complete them using academic material off the library website and so forth. But we'll teach you all those academic skills, source material, reference, and all of that, and we'll do it in really nice staged approaches so it's not daunting or overwhelming, and we'll look after you. So that's the one for year one in particular, which you guys will be coming into first of all. But employability is embedded in every year, so we'll always work with our employability advisors at Ulster to help you develop your CV right across every year that you're with us. Research skills is a big one as well, because it's one of the major selling points when you become an Ulster graduate, is that you have those research skills. So when you go into any form of employment, you can do research, you can write reports, you can provide evidence for the initiatives or things you're involved with in sport. So we do that across every year. And we do that through a lot of assessment, feedback, and feed forward. So every piece of work that you will do for us, we will give you extensive feedback on that you can then feed forward into other pieces of work, and we will support you through that whole process. And we will hopefully inspire you through different learning platforms as well. Through online lectures, face-to-face classes, small group work, practical sessions. It's really mixed in sport, which is really nice. There can be some very big classes, there's some very small sessions, but there's a lot of theoretical stuff, but also a lot of practical classes as well, which gets you to know your classmates and kind of challenges you in different ways. So we will get you working, and we'll get you working hard, but the kind of message I wanted to say was that we will really support you transitioning from whatever background you come in from. Once you have a place in our courses, we will support you.
Okay, thanks Rachel, thanks Lee. And just to kind of reintroduce myself, folks, my name is Stephen Shannon and I'm the course director at our Sport, Physical Activity and Health course at McGee. So what sort of differentiates our course from others? And you know, sport is a massive industry, and Rachel's outlined some of the kind of career pathways. But what's becoming more apparent is the strand of using sport and physical activity for public health promotion. So if you just draw your attention to maybe the bottom photo there of one of our recent cohorts who graduated, McGee campus, as many will know, is up in Derry. It's quite a unique campus in that it's smaller than the upcoming Belfast and Jordanstown campuses, but it's also good in that way because we have a smaller cohort, we get to know our students quite well and develop that rapport. You may have also heard recently that the executive have also, guaranteed that there'll be a medical school at McGee. So it's a growing campus and one that's a very unique environment to experience. Some of the other photos just in the top right-hand corner is our final year students from this year. Karen is there and he's leading one of our first year inductions. And we have this kind of, good bonds and good relationships built within the course. And in the next slide, I'm going to kind of outline why it was set up. So our course is only 5 or 6 years old at this point. It was developed mainly in this, I suppose, increased public knowledge that physical activity is good for our health. The public are aware of this, but many people aren't achieving the recommended physical activity guidelines. And not just that, if you look at some of the photos here, our environment's actually making it more difficult to be active. So mobile phones and sedentary behaviours are commonplace amongst kids and of course ourselves. You might have also experienced during this sort of lockdown period that, you're actually getting out for a walk to maybe increase your mood or, I suppose, get out of the house in that sense. But many of you will have one of these, Fitbit devices on, and some of the latest research during this lockdown is suggesting that, yes, people are maybe planning walking more or going out for a run more, but overall we're seeing globally that our physical activity levels have dropped quite significantly. So for these reasons, our course was kind of set up, as I said, it's quite novel and new, to really use the aspect of physical activity for health promotion. And what's kind of, good about that is that we have an option here. We don't have to continue with our current behavioural patterns. You might have noticed Nicola Mallon, who's the Transport Minister across here, and she recently introduced a new investment into cycling. And you may have also seen the recent development of the Wellbeing Hub from Sport NI, and that's kind of developed on our latest research at Ulster in how sport can be used as a good tool for mental health promotion. And a number of high-profile athletes, such as Carl Frampton, have bought into that and are promoting good mental health through sport and physical activity. And next slide, please. So just to give you, I suppose, a broad overview of our course and what sort of strands are there. So firstly, just on the left-hand side, you'll see that we have quite a high student satisfaction rate, 95% and 100% the year before. And we kind of accredit that to the relationships we build with our students and the good rapport that we have. There's also a hyperlink as well from a recent marketing video that we have done. I might give you a flavour of the campus and also some of our students that are currently going through their final year studies. But first year, as you'll see, it's kind of, it's teaching the fundamentals of sport and exercise science, but it's mainly tailoring them towards sport and physical activity for health promotion. So you see that we do, some of the, I suppose, core modules of psychology. We have some sociology and health and wellbeing in society. And then this kind of strands through into year 2, which begins a more kind of theory and practice focus. So if you see that module on the left-hand side in year 2, the sport, physical activity and public health, we use some of this information in semester 1 of that year. And then in the second semester, we train our students up to actually go out and deliver in schools. So our students deliver a program called Sport for Life for 6 weeks in a school, 1 hour per week. And this is really trying to, apply some of the theoretical concepts in sport and exercise psychology, but also in terms of coaching practice, and then use this within our course as a means of community engagement and promoting health amongst children in primary 5 and primary 6. As the other folks have identified, there is an optional placement year throughout our courses, and a number of our students have had some quite interesting placements. We have one final year student who actually went to New Zealand for a placement year in a school. We have people who have worked in PSNI across their placement years, and we have many people who are interested in the PE teaching route and also the, I suppose, exercise promotion routes, who have worked in Altnagilbum Hospital and otherwise. The final year then brings us together with a sort of research project and a real kind of focus in on physical activity promotion. Next slide, please. So throughout our course, this is some of our previous students, our own on the right-hand side. You'll learn to measure and test fitness and health components. So you'll be taking, the likes of blood glucose levels within our lab environment and going out and testing them in real time. We'll be looking at some, I suppose, devices related to behavior change in sport and exercise psychology, such as actually understanding, do these devices actually track our physical activity, and can we actually look at some brain activity through physical activity? We want to apply this learning to broad populations. So I have discussed that we do work with children in the local community up in Derry, but also there's opportunities to develop and do your research projects in, I suppose, populations such as older adults who, as we know, decline in their physical activity levels over time. Next slide, please. So maybe pass over to some of the folks here for keeping in touch with us.
I'll take this. So in terms of contacting us or following us, I think the way social media is going at the minute, the best places to contact us and engage will be through our Twitter links and our Facebook links. So you can follow what the school is doing, how we're supporting students, what our students are doing in terms of when they are competing, at what level they're competing at in terms of their sport, research being released by staff or staff are engaging in. So it'll keep you up to date with the flavour, the vibrant attitude and what's going on across our school and across our campuses within the School of Sport. So we're just moving on to the next slide. Johnny, please.
I think you're muted there, Johnny, just in
I
case.
can't hear you, Johnny.
Sorry, guys. Sorry,
Oh, there you are.
just to get back in there. Sorry. Well, the question in there, it's asking how many places do we have on each of our respective programs?
Well, it varies from year to year. It can be anywhere between about 65 to 75 for each of the sports studies and sport and exercise science, but it really just depends on central admissions at the university and how much they take in for different courses across our Faculty of Life and Health Sciences. So roughly between sports studies and sports science would be a total of about 150 to 160, just depending.
Okay.
And then in terms of our course at McGee, so as I mentioned, the course started around 6 years ago with just 12 students. And then as the years have progressed, we're up to about 40 students per year. Now our grade boundary is slightly lower than the likes of sport and exercise science and studies at 2 Bs and a C. But I suppose across all courses, and I'll maybe speak for Lee and Rachel here, the Talented Athlete Entry Scheme, which has been granted for a lot of our students, will reduce some of the overall grade boundaries in that.
Okay. Another question is coming through from Ella, which I obviously think I know the answer to. It's how do you go about doing sport with law at Ulster? That's not available at this moment in time. Obviously, it's a law something you can maybe look at as a postgraduate option or the other way around.
We have, there's a sport and law module on the sports management masters, but we have a graduate, Robert McTurnigan, who's on the website, the Careers in Sport website, and he actually went on to do sport. He's a sports lawyer now. So if Stella wanted to check out that profile, maybe get in touch with him via LinkedIn. He does some of our guest lectures and things as well on the management masters. Get some advice from Robert.
With the same student with Robert himself, he's actually involved in the likes of the disciplinary procedures for the Six Nations and stuff from a legal aspect as well. So he's totally immersed in the laws of the game and the bodies and the regulations.
Okay. Another question's come through there. It's something that you've touched on already, Rachel, because there's a fantastic resource there in the career portal map, especially that graphic to give people an idea of the types of careers that each of the courses progress on to. But someone's asking what type of jobs are available to graduates of sport, physical activity and health. And that graphic didn't show that, but I wonder if you want guys to touch on maybe some really good examples that you know of graduates who've gone off to work on very exciting roles?
Sure. So at Sport, Physical Activity and Health at McGee,
Yeah.
as indicated, we are focused on the use of sport and physical activity for health promotion. We'd be less inclined to look at elite sport and sports performance, although we do cover some of that. So a lot of our graduates have gone on to various kind of employment opportunities. I mentioned previously some have worked as a physical activity coordinator in the PSNI. We also have quite a significant strand of students who go on to do a PGCE at postgraduate level and then go on to do PE teaching or primary teaching. And we have people who have worked as physical activity consultants in a sort of private industry. We have a student currently in final year who has his own business plans to set up a sort of personal training setup. So there's a diverse kind of employment web that people can go into. And we've also people who've worked in a more clinical settings such as hospitals. And, something maybe it's thrown down the line, but we always recommend, gaining that placement experience if you come to do any of our courses, so that it gives you, I can only speak from my own perspective, but I was always wanting to do PE teaching. And then I spent the year in a school as a placement and thought, well, did enjoy it, but maybe we'll look further afield into research. So something that we kind of hope to develop throughout our studies.
Okay, and thanks for that, Stephen. And someone else is asking here, is there an option to transfer over to another sport course if someone wants to change after they have started?
It very much depends on the individual case and their profile of marks and subjects they've studied beforehand, and they still need to meet the admissions criteria, but it's very much viewed on a case-by-case basis. But I'd recommend against it. I'd recommend more that you would speak to each of us and see which is the right program for you in terms of the current subjects you're studying and the route you want to do. Because there are core modules that you need to cover in each of the first years, and that it makes it difficult that if you had to maybe do occasional modules in the following year, you're kind of held back a wee bit. So it's better to kind of get it right, I suppose.
Yeah, I would also echo Rachel's comments there in terms of, when you're applying for the courses, make sure you're well informed about each of the courses, because there are similarities across all three courses, but there are significant differences. For example, some of the students may come on board and then they may realise they struggle with the science aspect for myself, but as Rachel pointed out, they may not have the underlying knowledge and information to meet the admissions criteria for either of sports studies or sports physical health, because they've studied the wrong options at either A levels or BTEC. So I think Rachel's website in particular, if the schools and the careers advisors and teachers can start using it, and even the students and the parents themselves, they get well informed about what they actually study in sports science, sports studies and sports physical activity health, or sports coaching and football degree in the part-time. For us, it's about getting the right person on the right course, and if we can do that first time around, that's the best for everybody.
Yeah, I think careers advice, information and guidance is very important. And I know we do the team to use the and highlight the careers in sport portal when we're out of schools, just to highlight the difference between each of the three subjects, the full-time route, at least anyway. But another thing I wanted to bring up here is placements or work experience. How does the school go about offering that, and do we have any exciting examples to put forward?
I'll take this one. It's one of the most exciting things I think we have in our school, because sport is so massive and diverse across the world. There's just so many opportunities. So depending on what the student wants to do, we can create an amazing placement for them, or they can create and set up their own. Like, we have students who go away coaching to America. Stephen mentioned we've teaching placement in New Zealand. We've had students, at the Australian Institute of Sport. We have students who go and study in America, or more closer to home, we have people who go into local councils or sports development officers, physical activity officers, lots of school placements open for special needs, primary, secondary, a whole wide range, sports business, sports management. But we work with the student to see what's right for them, and through their modules in first and second year and the developing their CV, they get a chance to kind of touch on a few things to see what they might actually like to try. They want to do strength and conditioning, do they want to do performance analysis, and then they can really work towards that to do that for the placement year. So there's lots of opportunities to do that. We highly recommend that you either take that year out to study abroad or to work at home or abroad to really boost your CV and expand your network and make those connections in industry.
Yeah, I think echoing that as well, the contacts that staff have, obviously our staff are still involved in sports, whether it's at administration level, research level, or even still coaching or involved themselves. We already have those links, we can establish those links. Sport within the island of Ireland or Northern Ireland, where we're based, it's a very small world. So it's easy to make those links and maybe try and establish additional partnerships with other employers.
And as Stephen touched upon earlier as well, Ulster University is really pioneering now the self-employed placement. So if we have some real entrepreneurs out there and you want to set up your own business, that year is a really nice time to do it, because you will get supported through setting up business plans, getting funding. So then by the time you graduate, you'll have an established business there, which is really exciting too. So I suppose there's that, you working for someone else, but also the entrepreneur, self-employed side of things as well.
Yeah, and you can imagine, of course, the employability development or career development right through that process. There, all the skills they're developing and bring it back to their final year as well.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, like Steve was touching on too, like it feeds into your module. So you could go out into a school and like ignite your passion for teaching. So when you come back in and do advanced sports development, you've lots of like examples to draw on and that passion, and you just really want to get to that next stage of PGCE. So all that experience is vital.
And on the flip side of the placements, I've had students previously who have thought they wanted to teach. For example, they've went out and they've had a placement in a school, and then they've just realised this isn't for me, and they've maybe changed the career path and made more options in final year in terms of, they've just realised it's not for me and I want to do something else. I want a new challenge.
And we're really flexible as well, Johnny. Like for people who are interested in the placement, like we're flexible. You could do like 3 days a week, say in a school, and 2 days a week maybe with like disability sport NI or something. Like we very much tailor the opportunity in that year to maximise it for each student.
And work experience is very important, because we talk about this for some of our other programs, that it does, as Leah suggests there, it gives people an opportunity to find out if they really like that sector, that environment, whether it be PE, teaching at school, or whether it be personal trainer or analytics or whatever, performance, whatever it might be. Sometimes it seems right to you on paper, but when you go and do it, it may be different. That's what work experience is good about as well, allowing you to test yourself and see if you like it as well. Another question, last one that's just come in just before I take us through the last number of slides, is what about roots in sports physiotherapy?
I'll take this one. So from a sports science point of view, currently we have no masters at university, but they're looking at offering a master's in physiotherapy that sports scientists can graduate onto. So for example, if a student came on board and done sport and exercise science and they graduate with a 2-1, they can currently apply to go to England at the minute, do sports therapy and a master's in 1 year. So I've had previous students from the foundation degree days who've came to Ulster University, done their degree in sports science, and then transferred to an MSc, a 1-year program for sports therapy. Now, pretty much a sports therapist gets to work with elite athletes, but solely just from a sports point of view. The second option that the university are trying to work in the background with, maybe the medical school in Derry will help this as well, is having it's called an MSc in physiotherapy, and in brackets pre-registration. So students can actually go on and Google and look at it. So from a pre-registration point of view, that's targeted particularly at students that come in maybe from a sport, physics, activity and health, a nursing background, a sports science background, who aren't qualified physios, that haven't done an undergrad. They're currently looking to do a master's in physiotherapy to qualify as a physio. That predominantly takes 2 years, 12 months. There is some NHS funding out there, so you might be able to get funding to do your master's after you've completed your degree. It's the degree that currently sits as 3 years compressed in a 2-year master's. So all your placements on this MSc are included as part of your 2-year program. So essentially you could do a degree in sport and exercise sciences or sport, physics, activity and health in 3 years without a placement, progress on to a master's and do 2 years and come out as a qualified physiotherapist at master's level. From a career development point of view, that also means with a master's level qualification, you're at a higher pay band on the NHS. So you don't go in at a degree level, undergraduate level payment. You then go in at a higher level. And you've also got the option of, if you want to start up your own business, your own practice, you've got that option too. You don't have to work in NHS. So there is avenues. As Rachel said earlier on, from the diagram for the Careers in Sport website, your degree is usually just a stepping stone to your next point, wherever that point may be, whether it's a master's, whether it's a PhD. But it's a good question to ask. There is an offer at the minute in Dublin. I think it's either UCD or DCU offer an MSc in physiotherapy. So if those people who are homebound or have commitments to stay on the island can do it in Dublin. But I would say I'd probably watch this space with the graduate school starting. There may be the option of an MSc in physiotherapy pre-registration at Ulster University.
Okay, thanks, Lee. Hey guys, that's us finished with all the questions. I'm just going to take the webinar through the last couple of slides. Now, with regards to entry requirements, course profiles, modules, content, and even all the other links that Lee, Stephen, and Rachel mentioned there, whether it be in the career portal or student profiles, they're all available on our website for you to search through. Obviously, within the course finder, you'll see modules, entry conditions, whether it be for A-level, combinations, leaving certs. They're all confirmed up there on the website. If there are any issues, of course, I'll give you direction in a few seconds with regards to contacting the university, just in case you have questions about your particular combination of qualifications that you're considering applying to Ulster University with as well. Now, as I said from the outset, today's webinar is a part of a wider series of future applicant webinars that we have been offering over the past maybe 6 weeks. We will have another one for sports coaching and performance, and also football coaching and business management on the 1st of June at 11 o'clock. It's not up on the website yet. I'll be doing that straight after I come off this webinar to get that up there live for you to register for. Obviously, you'll probably learn about other webinars from your teachers from school. We do ask them to circulate them around you anyway. So hopefully, if you are interested in part-time route, if you want to combine that with work, for example, you're more than welcome to join us for the sports coaching, football coaching webinar on the 1st of June at 11 o'clock as well. And those will all be advertised on our website at ulster.ac.uk/events as well. Now, our open days, just to say, we did have them advertised for September. It's unlikely that they will take place in a physical format, more likely to be virtual this year. We're working very hard to make that as good as experience as can be given the current COVID-19 situation. And we'll keep you updated on what that will look like, feel like as the next couple of weeks moves on. But keep your eye out on our website at Open Days for more information about the virtual Open Day or for any other information that we have. In terms of getting in touch, our admissions department for any qualification queries, you can contact their McGee, for example, for Stephen's course, 02871675678. At Jordanstown, 02890366309. All these slides, guys, will be sent out to those of you who are attending today anyway, just in case you don't catch the telephone number now. And a recording of the webinar, my colleagues will be delighted to hear this, will be also available on our webinar page later on today as well. Course inquiries at study@ulster.ac.uk, but another very important platform for us, and this allows you to speak to our current students who may be on each of those 3 sports programs. It's called UniBuddy. That allows you to touch base with them, ask them any questions about their course, about staff, about facilities, about why they chose maybe one of those 3 courses over another, and that again gives you another research avenue to go down as well. Okay guys, that's the end of our webinar for the School of Sport. I would like to add, or I'd like to thank, Rachel, Lee and Stephen for joining us today and taking us through a very informative session. All that's left today to say, of course, is to stay safe, and hopefully we'll see you at Ulster University in September 21. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.